And there we are. So Ireland head towards round 5 with another win under their belts, a bonus point win. Andrew, I'm seeing a wide kind of spectrum of analysis of this game from, oh, that wasn't so good, right the way through to, no, Wales, much improved. This was a very acceptable bonus point win. So why don't you get the ball rolling for us here?
Yeah, I suppose it just depends on where you lean, I suppose, in terms of mindset. And there's a positive interpretation, and I think there's probably a negative interpretation. The negative one is it wasn't the Twickenham performance that we saw a couple of weeks ago. The positive version is, I suppose, I think we've seen, and Di Lake was touching on it there, I think we've seen a transformed Wales. Definitely not the final product, but I think when you look at the Welsh side that we saw round 1 in the Six Nations, whenever we expected, this is when Borthwick was talking about Wales-England, Grand Slam decider at the end. I mean, the universe has completely transformed since then.
Yeah.
But that was a captain's run for England that day. Wales just, they just wilted from minute 1.
OK, so Wales will kind of take as read much better. Ireland.
Significantly better.
Yeah.
But that's the context and that's the lens that we interpret that Irish performance. We were clinical enough early on, get that try. We were very close to getting that second try. It was disallowed. I wonder how the game would have turned in that moment. I don't think we coped with the uncertainty. I don't think we coped with the line speed that well. Our phase play started. There was a little bit of creativity early on, but we started to go into our shell a little bit. We kicked unusually, kind of reasonably badly, not as badly as we did in Paris. But even our decision to kick was unusual, was a little bit erratic. We played a little bit too much rugby in our half. Yeah. So there's a lot going on in that game.
Yeah, can we come in there?
No, yeah, I agree with all of that. I think it was probably a bit of a mixed performance. And it's the perfect illustration, if you take the last 3 weeks, that you're never as bad as they say you are in round 1 and you're never as good as they say you are in round 2. This was more, I think, a performance that is the true Ireland, almost. There was definitely lots of positives, OK? The bench was good. Doak coming on for his first cap was very good. Bonus point win, all of those things. But we still expect a little bit more. I think our game management in terms of we didn't play in the right areas of the field, thought we overplayed a little bit too much. And if there was ever a phrase so appropriate, I think you earn the right to go around teams. And I think we tried to go around them a little bit too early. And perhaps that's, we didn't show them as much respect as maybe we should have, or we didn't anticipate their defence to be as good as it was, because defensively they were very strong.
And so at a certain point there, to follow that thread, I presume the Irish team have to recognise Wales are fronted up here. Defence is good. We're not making the inroads we should be. Where do you see, who's the main decision maker to change tack, to start kicking more? Is that 9 and 10? Is that Doris and kind of the elder states people in the team? Where do you... Blame's the wrong word, but where would you want that change to come from?
Yeah, well, it's not blame, but that is the job of the halfbacks.
Yes, the responsibility.
The 9s and 10s, that's their job. If they're not doing it, that's when you'd like the leadership of your captain or a couple of other senior players to say it. But, you talk about, OK, Wales came a little bit harder. You hear Andy Farrell speak an awful lot about the feel of the game. How did you feel out there? And that's what you want your halfbacks to recognise and say, you know what, this is not quite working. I feel as if we're overplaying. Let's play a little bit more territory.
OK. But early on, the feel was... we've seen this 100 times. James at Gibson Park gets tempo, makes starts, makes line breaks. Then you're on the front foot, and that's when you play.
Yeah, Ireland started the game very well.
That's the interesting point. And you heard Andy Farrell saying it in an interview there. It's a different game when you're not getting that front foot ball. Full credit to Wales. They got their bodies in front really well. It wasn't just their number of tackles, it was the number of dominant tackles that they made. But we're looking at it from an Irish lens. I didn't think there was enough deception in their attack. It was a lot of one-off runners. And once Wales did get bodies in front, you then saw guys going off on their own, individual pick and goes. And it was largely down to Gibson Park to try and regenerate the Irish attack. How he utilised the short side attack, I thought was very good. But it can be hard against an opposition that you're expecting to beat and win well. 20 minutes into the game to be bringing the team in and going, look, guys, this isn't working. We need to change our plan. Like, the other players would be looking at you going, this guy's panicking here. So it was about trying to keep your head and stay to the plan. But full credit to Wales, they really fronted up